Hi, Devang. Thank you so much for giving us your time. For the viewers, may we request you to please share your journey and your story in your own words?
Sure, yeah. So basically, my name is Devang, and I'm currently doing my MBA at Indian School of Business. I started thinking about pursuing an MBA way back in 2019 when I was working with Deloitte. I did my due diligence in terms of the course material that I should basically use for my GMAT prep. Then some due diligence along the lines of which colleges to apply for, first of all, because it is essentially very important to understand the curriculum and whether that specific MBA aligns with your future career goals. Started prepping in January 2020, prepared for 2 months, but then COVID happened. And then basically the whole plan took a break for, I think, a couple of months. I started getting back into the zone again in April end. So prepped for May, June, July, and then gave my GMAT in August. Did not get the score that I was looking for in my first attempt. So basically gave it another shot after a couple of weeks. So it was like first week of September. And yeah, got a score of 710, started applying for colleges in Europe, Singapore, and US.
Right.
ISB was the only Indian college that I applied to. And yeah, basically, then after that, it was like a whole pattern of accepts and rejects. And initial few rejects kind of disheartened me, but then ISB converted. That was
Right.
my last convert, by the way. So
Mhm.
then, yeah, then I'm here at ISB doing my MBA in finance and strategy, and now looking forward to join Accenture in the summer.
Okay, that's awesome. And it's quite amazing how far you've come. So, in your opinion, what are few factors or actions you took that made all the difference?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost was to decide which course material to look forward to, because I think there are a lot of there's a lot of material available. You talk to 10 people, everyone suggests a different material. So Experts Global was recommended to me by my elder brother who was doing his MBA in US at that point of time. And I think the couple of points that he mentioned about the course, which I personally found very interesting, was first of all, the basically you can do it at your own pace. So it's not like you have to attend every classes. And especially for me, because I was working with Deloitte and it was hectic work weeks. So I needed a course which I can like tailor at my own pace. So that was important.
Right.
And he also mentioned about the mocks that Expert Global has, and
Mhm.
they are almost at par. And this is based on my experience as well. They are almost at par with how a GMAT exam would look like. So I think I did not want it to be like at a subpar level or like an extremely high on the extremely high end. So those were the two factors which helped. And then I think one another important step that I did was the research in terms of which schools to apply to. So I kind of did that parallelly with my GMAT prep, because this is again based on my experience. They focus on GMAT first, and then they start thinking about which schools to apply and like start their research, and then it kind of get rushed, the whole application process. So I think doing that parallelly kind of not just gives you a better headspace in terms of not just prepping
Mhm.
throughout the week, but also gives you some sort of a break in terms of like doing some research, just reading about stuff. And yeah, then the later part of the application process also smooths out a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is true. So, with the benefit of hindsight, what are a few mistakes you believe you committed in the process?
So yeah, I think like I mentioned, I took a break of a couple of months, right? So especially when it comes to GMAT prep, because it does not take a lot of time. So I think in my personal opinion, 3 months is probably the optimum time that you should spend for a GMAT preparation. Every time you take a break, even if it's just for 1 week, it
Mm.
throws you off by a month in your preparation, and it just becomes a cascading effect. So you'll have to go back and just start from scratch. So I think taking a break, that was something that I should have avoided. The other thing that I think I could have done better was, this is again based on my experience, do not just prepare on one aspect. So do not just go all verbal
Mm-hmm.
first and then all quant first. So try and maintain a balance sort of a thing,
Okay.
because based on everyone's like, so for example, I'm an engineer, so quant came to me very quickly, very easily. Verbal was my difficult part, so I used to focus a lot on the verbal aspect, but that kinds of like gets you out of the touch on the quant side, where I could have easily scored if I would have just like paid a little bit more attention. So keep a balanced prep whenever you're preparing for GMAT. So I think those are the two mistakes that I could have avoided. Probably would have helped with the score a lot more. But yeah, that's something that I understood.
Okay, okay. So going back to your GMAT prep phase. What were the main resources that you used, and what would be your advice to the future candidate?
Sure. So, like I mentioned, I use Experts Global Preparation Material. It was a set of the whole videos and the complete mock. So basically, the complete package was what I used. That is good for the preparation part, and especially the mocks. I found them to be very helpful. For additional practice, I use GMAT Club a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So GMAT Club has these series, these amazing question series like SC Butler, CR Butler for sentence correction,
Mm-hmm.
critical reasoning, and those are like, they just give you like two questions every day. So
Right.
between my work, whenever I had a chance to like take a break for 5 minutes, I'll just quickly open GMAT Club, solve those two questions,
Mm-hmm.
see whether I've done it correctly or not, and just, so basically, I mean, apart from the dedicated time that I used
Mm-hmm.
for reviewing the Expert Global's material, I
Right.
also used GMAT Club in between any time of the day whenever I take a break, like let's say for between tea breaks or between any meetings. I would just log into Expert Global, keep on solving questions. So those are the two resources that really help.
Okay, okay, that's great. So, what are your thoughts about mock tests? And according to you, how many mocks and at what frequency should a candidate take?
Okay, so in my experience, I think 12 to 15 is the optimum number.
All right.
Anything less than that, I think it still does not give you that level of confidence that you need. Anything more than that, I think it's a bit too much, because then you start focusing too much on like very specific individual activities. For the last 15 days, I used to do two mocks every week. So
Okay.
Wednesday one,
Okay.
Saturday another one, Thursday for first analysis, and Sunday for second analysis. So 12 to 15 mocks really work
Right.
well for me.
Okay, that's perfect. So, what would you like to say about your experiences and learnings from managing the application timelines?
Sure. So I'll tell you about that. I'll talk about ISB first, because ISB is the first deadline that I had. I still remember the date. It was 12 September.
Okay.
I gave my GMAT on the first week of September. So I was very rushed. I had read about the curriculum, about the overall program. I had talked to a few alums before, but I still did not know how to actually approach the whole application process in terms of writing the essays, getting them reviewed, and
Right.
like talking to your recommenders for your LORs and everything.
All right.
So I think that's another area where I could have improved, basically,
Mm-hmm.
to just start planning your application process a little bit more. In my experience, giving 1 week for every application is a must. Do not try to, basically, don't look out for deadlines. Try to have your application process done at least 1 week before the actual deadline. Sometimes it happens is, basically, you need to submit your recommendation. Your recommenders need to submit
Mm-hmm.
their recommendation, and at times they are busy, at times they don't get an email. You need to follow up with your school to get that email link generated for them. So
Right.
because of all those issues, you might take that extra stress which you don't need at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say give 1 week for every application. Start at least a month before the actual deadline. Read about the curriculum. Read about how it's a fit for your long-term career goal. What value would you bring to that program? And
Mm-hmm.
then what are you planning to take away from that program? So think along those lines and then apply is
Yeah.
what I would suggest.
All right. Okay. So, would you like to describe your interview experience with the B school?
Sure. Yeah. So my first interview was with Imperial College London. Very conversational, very easy interview. The interviewer just wanted to understand about the reason behind pursuing an MBA, and especially from Imperial. Did not convert, even though it went smoothly. So one takeaway right from that is, do not think about, once the interview is done, do not think about how it go. Easy interviews might not get converted at times. And then I'll talk about, I think, some of the other schools that I applied to. Again, back-to-back easy interviews, very conversational, but kept on getting rejected. The first interview where I was actually grilled at was NUS. They really wanted to understand why I want to pursue my MBA from Singapore itself. Similarly with NTU. So basically, long story short, European programs and US programs, their interview were mostly conversational, but you really need to know your stuff when you're giving an interview for Singapore programs and ISB. So my
Right.
ISB interview was proper grilling. It was 25 minutes back-to-back questions. And I honestly was not confident that I'll get a call from them. But
All
yeah, ISB was the last convert that I made. So. do not think too much about how your interviews are going, basically,
Right.
and start preparing while you are applying, because after the applications are done, you'll get your call within a few days.
Okay.
So do not wait for the actual application to get done and then start preparing. I think you should do that pattern.
All right. Okay.
I was waitlisted at NUS for 2 months, and it was like a very uncertain time frame, and I still had interviews going on after that. So overthinking would probably ruin your chances, is what
Right.
I would say.
All right. So, can you please tell us more about your MBA experience?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, basically I'm at ISB. Initial 2 months were online, completely online, because we were still reeling in from the second wave. I think online experience, it kind of takes away the overall MBA experience that you are looking for, especially from a 1 year program. But yeah, later at the campus, I think first of all, you get to meet a lot of amazing people
Right.
coming from a lot of different backgrounds. Normal conversations can lead to getting to know about areas or about industries or about specific domains which you might not have heard about before. So leveraging that, the large cohort that we have definitely is one important aspect. Second, I think having that clarity in terms of what you actually need from this program is very important.
All right.
So I am doing my major in finance and strategy. So I was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely sure that these are the courses that I would look forward to pursuing in my MBA. Apart from normal courses and normal curriculum, I would probably want to engage in some additional extracurricular activities. For example, I'm a part of the finance club here,
All right.
so we conduct a lot of activities for the cohort. I am also pursuing a project with a firm, basically. So at ISB, you have the option to participate in something called as the experiential learning program.
All
So
right.
that gives you that additional area where you can apply whatever you're learning
Hmm.
throughout your curriculum into a live project. So basically getting to know what all you need from that MBA program is very important. And yeah, as the year progresses, you try to do as much as you can.
Right. Overall, I think it's a very wholesome experience.
Definitely, definitely. It's not just the hard skills that you learn.
Right.
I think I got more confident throughout my MBA journey in terms of how I present my argument,
Right.
and again how to interact with a larger group of people, and that really helped me during my job interviews as well.
Right.
So
Okay, that's amazing. So, what would you like to say about your job search experience during the MBA, and what tips will you give to the future candidate?
okay, yeah. So basically, job search at ISB is easy because you have a CAS team, a placement team, which helps you. The initial part where you are waiting for a shortlist is the most uncertain, is the part where most of the uncertainty lies, because there's not a lot that you can do in terms of your resume. You come with your own experience, you have your own GPA, you have your own interest, and getting a shortlist is completely random at times. So that's one area where you don't have a lot of control. But like once you have those shortlists with you, preparing specifically for those firms helps a lot. And in terms of reading about what the role is all about, doing some sort of a due diligence in terms of what is the future which that firm is basically looking towards, and how can you contribute to their growth in that particular domain. Sometimes a lot of us also reach out to our extended network on LinkedIn and all for job search.
Okay.
But that's mostly if let's say the placement did not go very well. Also, I would, again, one tip that I would probably give is, and again, like I had multiple offers on day 0. Uh,
Right.
Never choose salary. Never choose salary as a deciding factor when you're planning to like accept a job offer,
Oh,
because MBA is one turning point in your life where you can actually take a pivot and like get into a role which you actually want to work for,
mm-hmm.
and never ever consider aspects like salary or like what firm it is to basically make those decisions is what I would suggest.
All right. Okay. I'm sure your suggestions are actually going to help a lot of other students to make their decisions right. So, how do you think your pre-application experience and your MBA journeys has contributed in your growth?
Yeah, sure. So I think if I specifically talk about my pre-MBA journey, I think when you are writing those application essays, you do a lot of soul searching in the way I would describe it. You try to think of where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
what you're trying to gain in another 1 year,
Right.
where you would want to go in next 5 years or 10 years in your career.
Mm-hmm.
So having that clarity helped me while first of all looking for jobs,
Right.
which roles to apply to first of all. Second, when you're actually interviewing for those firms, I think I got asked this question a lot in terms of, first of all, why are you doing this MBA? I mean, I thought that after getting done with my MBA interviews,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never ever get asked this question at why MBA. But
Right.
a lot of firms ask me this question during the job interviews as well. So that definitely helped. And obviously, after you basically gain some expertise into a few sectors of your liking. So, for example, I'm into finance and I really like mergers and acquisitions and, let's say, credit risk areas. So you develop that expertise in a particular domain, and like that definitely helps when you're interviewing for those firms. If you can probably showcase this, that you're aware and you have some sort of a subject matter expertise in that specific area, it basically sets you apart from the rest of the cohort who are
Right.
applying for the same jobs. So I
Absolutely.
think, yeah, leveraging your subject matter expertise throughout your
Right.
MBA and basically also developing your soft skills is what I would suggest.
That's actually quite helpful. So, what common mistakes do you think all the aspirants must avoid?
Yeah, I think this is based on my experience and then experience of some of my other colleagues who have prepared for GMAT over the course of past few years. Keep giving mocks. I cannot stress this enough.
Mm-hmm.
Keep giving mocks even if you're not done with your complete, if you haven't covered the complete course. And in fact, I started with the same mistake. I was kind of focused on going through all the videos first and then start solving mocks. But I think GMAT is not just a test of your verbal and quant abilities. It's also a test of your focus and
Right.
whether you're able to sit down for 3.5 hours and just write that exam without losing your focus.
Right.
So that only develops when you're giving your mocks. So never ever keep mocks aside for the later part of the prep.
All
Keep
right.
giving them frequently is one thing that I would definitely suggest. I think also stick to your plan. So I think Experts Global on their website, they have a 12-week plan where they tell you like it's a guide in terms of how you can basically do your prep. I found that very helpful, and sticking to that plan is very important because otherwise it gets cascaded at the later part of the prep and you're trying to focus on your applications as well. You're trying to do some research in terms of the correct courses that you want to apply to. So at that time, rushing through your GMAT prep can be a disaster. So do not deviate from your study plan is what I would suggest. Also, while writing the application essays and everything,
Mm-hmm.
use that soul searching which you did previously to prepare for your interviews as well. Because a lot of the interviews ask these questions in terms of why this MBA, why this particular college, what are you basically looking forward to in terms of for the next 5 years or 10 years of your career. So start preparing for your interviews along with your applications as well. So I think that is something that you should definitely do. So these are like some of the suggestions which I would say.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Devang, for giving your suggestions. And I'm sure your experience, it's actually going to help so many students learn. I'm really
Definitely.
glad that you shared all of this with us and for all the viewers. So really appreciate you giving us your time. And also congratulations on
Thank you. Thank
completing
you so
your
much.
MBA and also getting a job offer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was great talking to you.
Great
Yeah.
talking to you as well, Shada. Thank you. And anything that I can do to help the future candidates, I'd love.
That's great. We'll definitely keep in touch with you. So thank you
Sure,
so much.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dakshita. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Yeah. Take care.